Alright, gonna rag on our least favorite topic for the moment. That would be vampires, the bloodsuckers that nobody ever really cares to really care about. What I was just thinking about is I can only honestly think of 3 good vampire movies. Interview with the Vampire, pretty good movie. Older, but pretty good. This was a long time ago. Didn't have graphics, didn't have all the cool stuff, but that was a decent movie. In order, it would be Blade. Now, not all the Blades. Primarily just the first one. Even though there wasn't a lot in depth to it, the first Blade was a good vampire movie. Okay, the third one would be the Underworld series. It's questionable if you would consider it good, but it is not it by any means bad. So those would be my 3. Now, there are other vampire movies out there, but the ideas that they went with them just far-fetched. Daybreakers, that one was interesting. I'll give them credit just for that and that alone. For the most part, I honestly do believe that Twilight has ruined it. And when I mean ruined it, I can honestly say that I've seen all of the movies so far. The last one hasn't come out. Wife wants to see it, so yes, I will end up seeing it. But the movies they only hold the grasping because there's more coming. You know that there's more coming. You know what's going to happen. You just want to see how it's going to play out. That's the only thing in it for me. There's too much confusion. There's too much Romeo, Juliet, but she doesn't get with Juliet type atmosphere. The capabilities of the vampires and the werewolves are far-fetched. Everybody has different powers, etc. And then the fact of is that this is the first movie that all vampires can step into the light, but when they step into the light, they glitter. I can't get past that. Vampires were in the 50s and 60s, and maybe in the 70s a little bit, vampires were considered sex symbols. A creature, a being that forced himself into your house, put thoughts into your head, and had his way with you. Sex symbol, sex icon, whatever you want to call it. Now they're turning into teenage pop sensations without the pop music. Everywhere you look, you can pretty much go to any 16-year-old girl's house. I guarantee you her bedroom is plastered with pictures of Twilight. It's not the kind of upbringing you want to raise your kids. I've seen a lot of these, I don't know what you would honestly call them. I'd call them confused, personally, but that's not the right wording. When I went to school, there were ska, there were punk, there were gothic kids, then there were the emo kids. Now you have wannabe vampire kids. It's just so depressing. I would almost actually rather them join a gang than to see a group of wannabe vampires hanging out at the mall, walking down the street, loitering at the park, whatever they do. I would honestly rather them be gangbangers than wannabe vampires. For the fact of them wanting to be a vampire, which is something that's not going to happen, for the idea that they would love to suck the blood out of other people to sustain their life is medical. they need attention. The parents' bad choice in movies, obviously you don't have proper role models for your kids. So yeah, the one whole movie in its short series has turned a whole new craze out of kids that's not going to help us. I mean, if you think about it, today's youth society is already pretty lazy. They rely on their parents. So now we got a whole bunch of wannabe vampires. They're just going to want to suck your blood, and that's it, basically. So they think that they're going to have mind powers over you, that they might sparkle in the sunlight. So it's not really going to help our economic future now, is it, with a whole bunch of 30-year-old wannabe vampires thinking that they made a wrong choice 15 years ago. But those movies have completely corrupted today's society. They need to bring back the old style vampires, bring back in the brute, bring back the sex symbol, for all I care. The black and white vampire movies where you can see the strings and you can see the guy in the background, whatever, you can see the cheap fangs. I'd rather watch one of those movies any day than to have to deal with just the Twilight sensation. I think that's just about all I have to say about it. I think I got it all off my chest by now. But it started out good, and it went horribly, horribly bad.